What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. I hope that you're all well. What a cracking bit of weather we're having at the minute. Look, obviously it's different around the world, but here in Ireland it's absolutely gorgeous, and something's a bit better when the sun's shining, isn't it? Look, I want to start off with a little bit of bad news tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And the bad news is this: my ice cream man has changed his tone that plays out of his van. It's no longer the weekend, so I no longer feel that buzz when the ice cream man comes around. And look, that's just a little bit of selfish information, but I know you guys have often heard the ice cream man song on our streams when it's going around outside, and I just heard him there a minute ago, and he changed the music. I mean, he had the weekend, and we were all, in the gaff bopping around, dropping a shoulder, doing a little bit of this, and now I don't even want ice cream anymore. Ice cream is basically dead to me, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? How are we, folks? Sorry, I didn't want to get anybody worried when I said there's a little bit of bad news at the start of the stream. I missed you guys over the last couple of days. How are you? Obviously, since I've last spoken to you guys, Chelsea have gone and won the Champions League, so congratulations to them on sort of saving football from the hands of Manchester City, because let's be honest, none of us wanted to see Manchester City lift in the Champions League. It was bad enough seeing Chelsea doing it, but we didn't want Manchester City doing it, folks, did we? Hello from Ballybrack. How are you, Robert? I was only up in your neck of the woods yesterday, dude. My wife's parents live in Loughlinstown, Ballybrack area, so yeah, right up your neck of the woods the other day, which is class. Sorry, I'm just getting a message here from a journalist. Sorry, just wanted to check something. I was actually messaging a couple of people around Pats and DAKA there, because I know a lot of you girls are going to want to know about that tonight as well. So look, let's start off with the Trent stuff, shall we? Because it's starting to break now on mainstream media, and we kind of knew this was going to happen all along, that Gareth Southgate was most likely not going to take Trent Alexander-Arnold to the Euros. And basically what he's done here is fucked with Trent's head and taken a week away from his holidays, basically. So I don't like it. I'm sure Trent won't be best pleased. It seemed like he was waiting for updates around the players that were taking part in the Champions League final to make sure there was no injuries. And yet again, Gareth Southgate shows what a spineless little weasel he is, because there's nobody will ever convince me that Trent Alexander-Arnold shouldn't be part of any England squad gone to a major competition. Obviously, I'm Irish. It doesn't really affect me, but it affects me from the point of view of Trent, because I want what's best for Trent, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So, the good news on that from Trent's point of view is he'll probably get himself a nice 6-week holiday now before he comes back for pre-season with the Reds. But Southgate is, look, it's not for me to say as an Irish man, but as a man of football, as somebody who loves the game, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous from him. But look, he'll live and die by his own decisions, but for Trent, it's not great. I mean, he's done everything that Gareth Southgate asked. He knuckled down, improved his performances, played a big part in Liverpool making a push at the end of the season to the Champions League. And then Southgate does something that kind of shocked everybody. He bottled it by not naming his team. He hid behind the fact that he just wanted to see what happened in the Champions League final and stuff, but really, he was just placating everybody for a week or so. We knew Trent wasn't going. And it's not a great look for him as far as I'm concerned, but there you go. Somebody says Walker is better than Trent. Not in my book, mate. Not in any book that I'll ever read or talk about either. But look, that's it. That's the latest on that one. That'll be announced tomorrow when he names his 26-man England squad for the European Championships. Is Fatwa Isaku to Liverpool confirmed? So this broke earlier on. He's a Ghanaian international, or a Ghanaian young guy, and it broke saying that Liverpool were going to sign him, that they had signed him actually, I think this report went on to say, and that they'd stolen him from under the noses of Bayer Leverkusen. Now, I've tried to find out information on this, and no UK-based journalist that I'm lucky enough to be in contact with can stand over that. So the truth is, around this young Ghanaian guy, it seems to be that nobody knows other than this person that said it was already signed, sealed and delivered. I think it originated on Twitter earlier on today, but I've not seen anything from an English-based journalist that I know, or any of the people that I've reached out to that have a clue about this, so I can't shed any light on that one, I'm afraid. Angus, how are you, man? What's your thoughts on Coutinho returning for free? My thoughts are that I wish people fucking listened to me when I talked. I'm going to say this one more time for people who haven't seen it before. Barcelona do not owe Liverpool a goddamn penny. They owe 50 million for Coutinho, but it's not to Liverpool. Liverpool sold off that debt. I've told you guys this so many times, and I don't know why either people don't listen or don't believe me. We sold off the debt to a company a long time ago. We collected all of that money, and it's Barcelona that owe 50 million to this company. Liverpool aren't owed a penny for Coutinho, so Liverpool will not be getting Felipe Coutinho for free. And also ask yourself, why would you want Felipe Coutinho? Somebody who didn't make it at Bayern Munich, didn't make it at Barcelona, somebody who hasn't played any football in 2021 because of a serious knee injury, and somebody who is, 29 years of age now, or 28, heading for 29? I don't understand for the life of me why anybody would want to get him back at the club. I don't. I really enjoyed Felipe Coutinho when he was at Liverpool. I idolised the guy when he was here, and I'll always look back on that time fondly. But since he's left Liverpool, he's only deteriorated. And, Bayern Munich didn't want to take up the option to sign him. Barcelona can't get rid of him quick enough. And now he's just coming back from a serious injury that's after keeping him out for the last 5 months. So it'll be a huge no for me. But, there is another link for a former Liverpool player that I want to talk about later on. But Coutinho is all the people that want Coutinho back have in their heads the Felipe Coutinho that left Liverpool. But that isn't the Felipe Coutinho that's currently out there playing football, folks. Or actually not playing football, if the case may be. So again, I'm going to reiterate, Liverpool are not owed a goddamn penny for Coutinho because we sold the debt off to, I don't know what you want to call it, a collection company or a bond holding company, I don't know, investment company, whoever it was, but the debt was sold off. Again, I've said that for months now. I don't know why anybody doesn't believe what I have to say in it, but that's the facts. Now, will Barca want rid of him this summer? Absolutely. There's no denying that. They'll want to move him on, and Everton have been linked with him. I think Arsenal may have been linked with him, but he's not what we need at Liverpool. We don't need another player coming back from a serious injury to worry about when we have 2 centre-backs coming back from pretty serious injuries. So, yeah, that would be a huge no. I can't see him coming back to Liverpool. Thoughts on Barcelona signing Aguero? Again, it was because of the circumstances, I think. Sergio Aguero, I'm not going to sit here and belittle Sergio Aguero. The man has done what he's done. He's a fantastic football player. But Barcelona, that's the kind of market that they're going to be in this summer, isn't it? They're going to be in for the likes of Gini, the likes of him, the likes of Memphis Depay, players that they can get in and not really pay much money for, and maybe push the signing on fee onto the wages and stuff over a longer period of time. So yeah, look, Aguero, I'm sure that'll suit him fine, and I'm sure it'll make Messi happy. Maybe try and convince Messi to stay at Barcelona. Right, we'll get on to DAKA in a second, ladies and gents, but I want to just take your attention to another former Liverpool player who's sort of been linked a little bit, and I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but Raheem Sterling could be on the available for sale books at Manchester City. 2 years, I think, left on his contract. I might be wrong on that one. 27 years of age. 26, 27 years of age. I think he's 26, about to hit 27. So just coming into his prime. Now, we can put the Coutinho and stuff to bed, and we may well put the Sterling stuff to bed, but I just wanted to ask, out of curiosity, if Liverpool were to approach Manchester City, what would your reaction be around Raheem Sterling? This has by far been his worst season since he's left. His goal return, I think, of about 14 is a lot less, and he seems to have dropped down the pecking order a little bit under Guardiola, who looks like he wants to bring in new bodies this summer and maybe start a bit of a rebuild himself. And we know that Raheem Sterling is somebody who usually, he's a confidence type player, and if he's not feeling it, his performances will show, and that seems to be what the case is at the minute at Manchester City. And look, I'm not saying that there's any hope of Liverpool signing him, not signing him. I'm not saying he isn't a snake. I'm not saying anything other than there's been a few little bits and pieces trickling around today, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it. People are saying no, he's a snake. Okay, I'm not saying he is or isn't, because I was annoyed as well by the way he left, but I'm interested to see if the same people who want Coutinho back are calling him a snake, because it was Coutinho that faked the back injury, and it was Coutinho that did what he did to force his way out as well. Now, don't get me wrong, Sterling did what he did, talk to the BBC, but I understood Sterling doing it a lot more. Maybe that's just me, because when Sterling was here, the players that we had at the club probably weren't of the calibre that he wanted, and he looked ahead to the next few years of his career and wanted to win stuff. And, what he had at Liverpool at the time probably wasn't good enough. Now, Coutinho left when Klopp was here. So to me, that's a lot different than the way he forced his way out. But look, I probably wouldn't have Raheem Sterling either, to be honest. I was just interested to see how you guys would feel about that potential. Right, nope. Prime, he's well over his prime. Well, Morton, a professional footballer gets into their prime at about 27 years of age, mate. And he's 26 going on 27, so, he is going into his prime technically. I agree, though. I do think his best days are probably behind him. I don't have any arguments about that whatsoever. Right, let's get on to DAKA. So there's a couple of different trains of thought around Patson Daka, and again today, ladies and gentlemen, I've been trying to find out as much as I can. So for people who aren't aware who Patson Daka is, and there are some people in the chat I've read beforehand who don't know who he is. So he plays for Salzburg. He's played against Liverpool a few times, most notably last pre-season, scored against us as well, and is a very, very talented forward. He's managed or represented by Freddie Canute, and he has been linked strongly to a move to West Ham. Actually, I would go as far as to say West Ham are probably the most interested known party at this moment in time. We have good working relationships with Salzburg. Obviously, we signed Canade there. We've got a lot of players that have come through the Red Bull ranks as well, from Naby Keita to Sadio Mane, and a couple more along the way. So we have a good working relationship with Salzburg. And I would like to think that there is truth to this, because for 25 million quid, which is projected to be the cost of Patson Daka moving wherever he moves, I think that's a no-brainer for me. I have to say, it gives us another dimension to our attack. It may let Klopp go and get a creative midfielder or something to add a little bit more attacking flair as well. We've got Harvey Elliott coming back in. And look, he's not Mbappe, he's not Sancho, he's not a superstar name. But from what I've seen of him, and I've watched quite a bit of him, some of the highlights granted, but I have watched him play for Salzburg as well. I've seen him play against us. I would have him in a heartbeat. I really, really would. At that type of price point of around 25 million quid, Patson Daka to me should be a no-brainer if we're looking for a proper striker in that position. Don't let him fool. Okay, he's not a Haaland, I get it. He's not a name that we're all going to be drooling over, but he's a good footballer, and under the tutelage of Klopp and Pep Linders, I think he'd come on leaps and bounds, and I think we'd be talking about him in 12 months' time as an absolute snip. Or we'll get the case where he goes to West Ham, and we're looking around going, shit, we should have taken that gamble. Honestly, I hope we're in for him. I really, really do hope we're in for him. I can't get a solid confirmation on it one way or the other. Connor sent it to me earlier on. I think it comes from Spain or somewhere originally, this website that's put the link out there to suggest that we've pretty much got the deal done. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I've reached out to some BBC journalists and some journalists that are friends of mine, and nobody knows. Is the God's honest truth. But I hope it's true, and it ticks a lot of the boxes of a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool FSG transfer. Not the sexiest name in the world, not somebody that's a established superstar, but somebody who knows where the net is and somebody who could do a good job. So I'd be all over that. I've got to say, I'd be all over it. They should sign Daka, said Gilbert. Mbappe maybe. Look, you know I want Mbappe as much as any of you, and we're allowed to dream as football fans, but it's not looking very likely. Yeah, it just isn't. I mean, I've always sworn, to be honest with you guys, and every time I try and bring up Mbappe with a journalist or even another person within the football fan channel industry that have some decent connections, it just doesn't look very, very likely whatsoever. And I'm wondering, and this is just me putting two and two together in my head and maybe coming up with 7, but so we know Mauricio Pochettino could be going back to Spurs. That's a possibility. Daniel Levy is apparently wants him back, admits that he made a mistake. And Zinedine Zidane has, of course, left Real Madrid. So will we see a situation that in order to try and placate Kylian Mbappe and keep him at PSG, might they turn their attention to Zinedine Zidane and try and get Mbappe to stay that way by bringing in a manager who he was willing to go and work with and idolises in Zinedine Zidane back to France to manage PSG? Again, this is just me spitballing here, ladies and gents. I'm not trying to say I've got any info on it, but it would be intriguing to see what would unfold if that was the case, if they could get Mbappe to stay. Because let's not forget, there are very few clubs in the world right now who are in a financial position to be able to go out and sign Kylian Mbappe, even if this summer is the summer where you could get him probably at his lowest fee. So I would say that he may not move. I would say he may not move unless somehow Real Madrid can free up money from somewhere and he fancies the move there. And, you know, it's easy to sit here and go, oh, Real Madrid, but they're still in a fight because Kefren, the UEFA president, came out today and he said, he was talking about Real Madrid, Barcelona and Juventus and the fact that they want to go and they haven't renounced the Super League yet and they want to go and form this Super League. But at the same time, they've put in their application to play in the Champions League. Now, nobody knows yet because there's a couple of court cases going on, a couple of legal wrangling that's way above our pay grade. But nobody knows whether Real Madrid will be expelled from the Champions League for the next 2 years. So will anybody want to commit themselves to a club like Madrid or Barcelona or Juventus, knowing that they may not get the chance to shine on the biggest stage because of the insistence of these clubs to push ahead with the European Super League plans? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it works out. So I would say the Mbappe thing, wherever it happens or whatever might happen, will drag out for a long time. That will be a latter part of the window situation. I would say he'll go to the Euros with France. He'll play there. He'll see how the lay of the land is. Maybe if he lights up the tournament, somebody will be able to free up money or not. I don't know. But I would say nothing with him will happen anytime soon. You'll be talking way after the Euros. Hey Craig, sorry I'm late to the greatest YouTube channel in history. I love that, Carrie. Well played. DAKA's a class player. If we get him, what about a Genie replacement? It's weird because there is a good bit of conversation going around to say that Klopp has no intentions of replacing Genie with a Genie like-for-like style replacement. So that would put the likes of Bissouma in doubt. Now, I still think Bissouma would be a great option for a very reasonable fee. But Arsenal also tracking him down and a few other clubs as well. So it's interesting to see what way we look at this. Like we've seen Houssem Aouar, who just got knocked out of the under-21 Euros along with Canade tonight for France. They lost 2-1 to the Netherlands there with a last gasp goal at the end of extra time. Or was it the end of normal time? Sorry, the end of normal time I think it was. So Houssem Aouar could be available this summer. And will Klopp look to go with a more front-footed midfielder if he does look to add in a midfielder? Or will it be somebody like an Yves Bissouma or somebody like a Rodrigo de Paul, maybe a Udinese, who has been strongly linked with AC Milan? And then people were asking me about Çalhanoğlu as well, who of course leaves AC Milan as a free agent this summer, and reports today suggest that his most likely destination will be Juventus, who are in the same kind of boat as Real Madrid. Financially not too sure what's going on, not sure about playing in the Champions League of course, not even sure about their inclusion in Serie A, because the Italian FA have threatened to throw them out of that league as well. So wait and see what happens here. But Çalhanoğlu, I would say, one, isn't good enough for Liverpool in my opinion. Two, there's no such thing as a free transfer because we all know players want a signing on fee and a pretty high wage when they're in that position. So I don't think we'll see him at Liverpool. I think Juventus is a good shout actually. So that's the latest on those type of players who've been doing the rounds a bit. Right, what else we got? Let me go through as many of your comments as I can. Any news on the signing of Donyell Malen? Absolutely nothing, Jared. Nothing at all, mate. It's gone very quiet. But as I always say, quiet on anything isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because if stuff goes quiet on a player, I think of it a little bit differently to maybe other people. I think of it that either he's not going anywhere or it's so well known within the football world that somebody has got so far along in talks with him that nobody else is being linked with him. So I don't know what's happening with Donyell Malen, but the DAKA stuff is starting to come out more and more now over the last 24 hours. And I really do hope that Patson Daka is somebody that Liverpool are trying to sign. Again, as I said, great working relationship with Salzburg and Leipzig and the Leipzig branded club, or the Red Bull branded clubs, because of previous business we've done with them, friendlies we've played with them and stuff. So could be something to that one. Really, I'm going to try my best in the next 48 hours to run the rule over that one as much as I can. And I'm going to start trying to introduce some new forms of content as well. So the likes of DAKA, I'm going to maybe do a bit of a breakdown on what DAKA would and wouldn't bring to a Liverpool team, what his strengths and weaknesses are. So again, we're planning out the content here for the summer. This is our downtime in the season really, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming around in the next few days. Rodrigo de Paul is a baller, said Cole. He is again linked to AC Milan, and important to note as well that Rodrigo de Paul recently signed up with Mino Raiola as his agent as well, which makes me think even less chance of him coming to Liverpool. Now I know we have worked with Raiola in the past, but I don't think it's very likely. Yuri Tielemans, that's another name that a lot of people are asking about. And I was very dismissive around Yuri Tielemans a couple of weeks ago, and not because, well, I was undecided on his talent in regards to if he'd be able to blossom even more at Liverpool. And I think I've come to peace to say that Yuri Tielemans is a good enough footballer that if he came to Liverpool, he would make it. But I always doubted the availability of funds to pay what it would take to get him out of Leicester. Now, there's been fees of around 50 million quid doing the rounds, but it doesn't seem to be going away, this one. And even in his native Belgium, there's a couple of stories linking Yuri Tielemans with Liverpool. And I don't know, and maybe you guys don't know, how disappointed Tielemans would be to have seen Leicester fail to qualify for the Champions League right at the death 2 seasons in a row now. Granted, they won the FA Cup, and I'm sure that was a wonderful experience for him, the Leicester club, fans and the club, but at the end of the day, players want to be playing in the prestige European tournament, which is the Champions League. And Yuri Tielemans' goal in the FA Cup final was simply stunning. So let's wait and see. Because I have to say, I thought it was a non-starter. I really did, because I thought the fee would be a ridiculous amount. But if that's the player that Klopp wants, and I don't know if it is or isn't, we could do a lot worse. I'd say that much. Adam Sherry said, glad to see you haven't left. I'm not going anywhere, buddy. Confirmed it with the family and wife. Said it a few weeks ago. I'm here for the long haul, my man. Not going anywhere, but thank you. That's very kind of you. Basuma is better than Tielemans any day of the week. They're completely different types of footballers, though, mate. Basuma is a lot more kind of centre midfielder, an old-fashioned central midfielder, somebody who gets the ball, moves it a bit. Probably doesn't get on the front foot as much as Tielemans, but still a very tidy footballer. And I think we need somebody like a Tielemans, a Houssem Aouar, a Rodrigo de Paul, somebody to get on the front foot a little bit more. Because if you look at the options we have in midfield, you've got Thiago, you've got Fabinho, you've got Henderson. I'm talking about in a central midfield role right now. Jimmy Milner still at the club, of course, although he's not getting any younger, but he is James Milner. Got Curtis Jones, somebody who can get a bit more on the front foot, tends to drift in from that left side. So we've got options, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, but, and I'm going to say before you guys get to say it, they're also injury-prone players, particularly Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita there. So I'm open to the possibility of Liverpool selling one of them, and I think you guys probably are as well. I'd guess that a lot of you are probably a bit more excited about the idea of moving on Keita than Chamberlain, but I could be wrong on that one. Kone from Lille. Now, Vernon, my man, this is where I have to eat a big, dirty, huge slice of humble pie, because I came on here the other day and said, I don't know about these links to Kone from a personal level, because I hadn't watched much of him play. But I tell you what, I watched them play for France tonight, and within 10 minutes I knew I was an idiot, because it's there to see with a Kone. He's lightning. He is always thinking ahead. He's a trickster. He's brilliant. I'm all in on the Kone stuff. I have to say, I'm convinced, as a fan, I should say, I'm convinced at that price point, at around 25 million quid, from what I've seen from a Kone tonight, if that's a glimpse of how good this kid is, the Lille player, get him, because he's got something. He definitely has something about him. He was leaving defenders for dead. And I said to Steve Booker earlier on, mate, I was totally wrong on that. And he said, I knew you'd come around. This lad looks legit. And if Lille are willing to let him go for that fee, somebody is going to get themselves an absolute bargain. When sub-only mode coming? It's up to when it's put onto our account, mate. It's not an option for us yet. They've introduced it for some accounts, and when it gets put onto our account, we will of course implement the sub-only chat. Sub-only, I should say, not member-only. I don't want to get that confused, because we'll never put a paywall up on our account so as people have to pay to comment. We'd never do that. What about Neuhaus? It's gone so quiet, mate. I mean, we were linked with Neuhaus a while back. Strongly linked with them, the Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder, but there's been nothing new on that one at all. Either in the mainstream media that I've seen, or amongst my group of friends who I have WhatsApp groups with. There's nothing at all I've seen on that one, Carrie. Right, what else have we got? I'm a Man United fan, but I enjoyed your streams. Thank you, Ash. Much appreciated, dude. Thank you. That guy Fatuwu that Lalala is asking about there, that broke in Ghana, I believe, but it's not being confirmed by anybody that I trust. So I would say be cautious, because, you know, I've never heard of this guy. From what I've read, he was close to Leverkusen, but this person from Ghana, or this publication, is saying that Liverpool have signed him, but it hasn't been confirmed by anybody that I've seen, or any of the English-based journalists that I would trust. So I would say always proceed with caution. What about Lautaro Martinez? He's definitely more likely to leave Inter Milan than Romelu Lukaku, from what I've been reading. So the most likely ones to leave are Hakimi and Lautaro Martinez, because it's no secret that Inter Milan need to free up money. It's one of the reasons that Conte left, because he was told they needed to free up about 70 million quid's worth of talent to make up for some of the losses that they've incurred, even though they have Champions League football now after winning Serie A. So Lautaro Martinez looks like he could be available. Now, I'm not linking him to Liverpool, but with regard to his availability, I would say that that's something that Inter would be more willing to do business on than the likes of Romelu Lukaku, who I think they don't want to leave, even though he has been linked with a move back to Chelsea. Do I reckon Renato Sanchez would be a good show? I still haven't seen enough of him. Obviously, I know about Renato Sanchez's talent coming through Benfica, going on to Bayern Munich, time at Swansea, then over to Lille. And was coming back from injury towards the end of the season with Lille, who of course won the French league. So, you know, I don't know, is the honest answer. I think it would be a risky signing. There's no doubt the guy has talent, but can Klopp get that talent back out of him? Can Klopp make him blossom? I don't know, but there's definitely a talented player there, and he's someone that could turn out to be an absolute masterstroke for a club if they take a chance on him, but he's also somebody who could make you look a little bit foolish if it doesn't work out. So I don't know is the honest answer there, but I would suggest that somebody will probably take a punt on him this summer. Is Trent out of the squad? It seems it's been widely reported that he's going to miss out tomorrow, mate. Yes, unfortunately, which just still boggles the mind, in all honesty. Do you think we should bring in Barella for 35 million? I would happily have Nicola Barella, mate. And again, we're going back to Inter Milan here, talking about the fact that they do need to free up some cash. I don't think they'd like to lose Barella, but would I have him at Liverpool? Yes, I think he's a very good footballer. Ikone is a selfish player. That can be coached out of him, though. I mean, raw talent, ability, and game awareness is something that is either there or it isn't. And, you know, you can see in Ikone that he has all of those things. Now, you know, I haven't watched him enough to know if he's selfish or not. But if he is, and I'm working off the basis that you're right, that can be coached out of him. Do you know what I mean? You can be coached to make better decisions at the right time and shown how and why, examples of how to do that. Edward from Celtic, somebody said, again, probably going to move this summer, and I don't think he'll move to Liverpool because I don't think he backs himself. And by that I mean he's already spoken publicly about the fact that he wants to go and play, and from the reports that have been put out, it suggests that a move to somewhere like Liverpool makes him think he'll be sitting on the bench. And that's not the type of player that I want at the club, because you've seen somebody like Diogo Jota. He backed himself to come to Liverpool and force his way in, and did, and showed what he could do. So if a player has doubts about his own ability to break into a team, either because of his age or his insecurity, or I don't know Edward, so I'm not going to speak about him personally, but when I see that alarm bell start ringing in my head to say, well, look, if the player's not backing himself, we could have another Divock Origi on our hands, because Divock Origi seems to suffer a lot from confidence. Now, there is one thing I wanted to bring up, ladies and gents, and that's Shaqiri, because I'm absolutely okay with Shaqiri moving on. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's the right thing to do. But when I seen the figure of £6 million being mentioned, I think that's phenomenally too cheap. I think we should be looking to at least get to 12 back that we paid for Shaqiri. And I know he's 29 heading for 30, and Fenerbahce have been linked with him, as have a couple of clubs in Spain, but £6 million. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, and I've been critical of him at times, but I still think, what does £6 million get you these days? I just think I'd be amazed if he goes for that. I really, really would be amazed if we only got £6 million for Shaqiri. It seems way too low. Even in a COVID world, it seems too low. Sounds like, what's that? Pepe, that went well for Arsenal. So yeah, well, he's starting to pick up a little bit at Arsenal, to be fair. Chelsea were close to signing Akone last season, so we'll have to move quick with that. Well, he's now out of the Euro under-21s, mate, because France lost tonight. So, Akone, if anything is going to happen on him, I'd imagine now he'll go have a holiday after a busy season in France with Lille. And, while you're on holiday, as much as you're holidaying as a footballer, I'm sure his agent will be on the phone. So I would imagine any news around Akone will probably start to speed up, whether it be Liverpool or elsewhere, over the next 72 hours or so. Rafinha from Leeds. Sean, coming from Rafinha himself, it seems to be that he wants to stay at Leeds for another season. He'd been linked to Liverpool, he'd been linked to Man City, and I can't remember where else, but it seems that he's happy enough to stay on there for another season if Marcelo Bielsa extends his contract. And on that note, actually, while we're talking about Brazilians and South Americans and stuff, did you see that the not the AFCON, the Copa America, is that what it's called? Yeah, the Copa America, isn't it? Isn't that what that one's called? Yeah, the fucking one with Brazil and Argentina and all. That's been moved. It was originally in Colombia, now it's been moved, or then it was moved to Argentina. And now today it's after being moved to Brazil. So, yeah, that tournament's going to apparently start on June the 13th in Brazil with a very strange format. So there's 2 groups of 5 and the top 4 in each group go through to the knockout stages. So basically 2 teams get eliminated from the group stage, which just sounds farcical to me, but that's what's going to happen in the Copa America. Would I take Suarez back? It's not really a conversation though, Finn, because he wants to stay in Atleti. He feels loved in Atleti. Won the league over there. Scored the goal that technically won them the league in the 2-1 win on the last day of the season. And all reports, even words coming out of his own mouth in his post-match press conference, say that he wants to stay at Atleti. So that's a non-starter, I think. Sabitzer, again, I've discussed this loads of times, and stop spamming. Actually, I'm not even going to fucking answer you because you're a spamming little prick, so let's just remove you and go from there. I'll put you in a timeout. Don't spam the chat, mate. Did I miss a super chat? Sorry, let me go back up. Carrie said, would I take Buffon on a 1-year free to help Kelleher and Pitaluga as a squad player in place of Adrian? No, I wouldn't. He's 42 years of age, Gigi Buffon. He can barely move anymore. One of the greatest goalkeepers of my generation and an absolute hero of mine. I love Gigi Buffon, but no, he's 42 years of age. And as much as I agree that we do need somebody to come in and challenge Alisson if Caoimhin Kelleher goes out on loan and Gianluigi Pitaluga continues to develop, I would say no, carry on that one. Camavinga, I don't think he'll be coming to Liverpool. I think maybe PSG, but keep an eye on that one because I think he's just got 1 year left on his deal as well. Is Shaqiri sold? No, he's not sold yet, but he is available, and there's continued interest from Fenerbahce, who were interested in him previously. Liverpool are ruling out a loan move or a loan with an option to buy move, so if he does go this summer, it'll be on a permanent deal. But I was just really shocked to see the 6 million quid be a figure mentioned around Shaqiri, because he's worth more than that. He really is worth more than that. Who's your backup right winger? Elliot, potentially. We'll have to wait and see what happens there now. As I said, I'm all for giving Pats and DAKA a punt at 25 million quid if that's the case, but I would like to see us then bring in an attacking midfielder and maybe give Harvey Elliott the chance then to see what he can do. I know this isn't these aren't the names that we all dream of. We all wanted to see a summer of a Sancho, of a Kylian Mbappe, a Haaland, a Kane, somebody like that. Maybe not those specifics, but they're the names that we knew were available this summer, and they're the names that maybe naively some of us had hoped that we would see potentially coming through the door at Liverpool. And look, nothing is set in stone yet. The transfer window doesn't actually technically open till July the 1st, even though you can register play, or you can agree deals and all with players then, but their contracts can't be registered with FIFA or UEFA until the 1st of July, I think. Or maybe the transfer window in England opens earlier. I think I read the 1st of July. But either way, it's only at the start of the window, one way or the other. So I wouldn't be losing our minds just yet, particularly when there's so many international tournaments still on, players currently on holidays, the staff currently on holidays as well. I would, I would cool down on it a little bit. I wouldn't get too stressed. Coutinho, gone through it at the start. Don't know what else I can say other than He's 29. He's coming back from a serious knee injury. Hasn't played any football in 2021. Didn't make it at Borussia or Bayern Munich. Didn't make it at Barcelona. Why the fuck would we want him back? I don't get it. I'm baffled by fans wanting him back. And they don't owe us 50 million quid, as I've said at the start of the stream as well. Yeah, the 50 million quid wasn't owed to us. I've already done the super chat, so I didn't miss one. Somebody said I missed one earlier on. I've already gone back and done it. Anything else, ladies and gents? What else do we want? To keep Origi? Why? Genuinely, why? What has Divock Origi done in the last year to keep him? Honestly, I'm not trying to be an arsehole, I promise you. But you gotta move him on. Surely, you gotta move him on. I don't know what the story is with Takumi Minamino, by the way. I've no idea. I can't see a route back for him personally, but that's just a personal thing. Maybe a move back to Salzburg, maybe a move to Leipzig with Jesse Marsch, who is going to make that move and take over there. Could be worth a shout, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Sancho, look, I've said this all along, I think United are front runners for Sancho. I'm not saying there's no hope, and I'm not saying Liverpool mightn't inquire about him. I'm just saying they did the groundwork on Sancho. The fees and all the wages have been agreed with Sancho. The only problem will be the situation with Dortmund, and it seems they want about 82 million, something like that, which is about 20 million down on their demands last year. So wait and see on that one where he ends up. I think the smart money, if United get their finger out, was probably on him going to United, in all honesty. What about Ings? I've not seen anything linking him to Liverpool, to be honest with you, but would I have him back? Yeah, maybe, but I prefer DAKA. I'd prefer to take a punt on DAKA, to be honest with you. Thoughts on Çalhanoğlu? Done that earlier on. Probably Juventus, by the looks of it, mate. There's no such thing as a free transfer, really. We know that. Like, surely no, we're not naive enough to think that players don't basically get a big dirty chunk of a signing on fee or really inflated wages when they're on a technically free transfer. But it looks like Juventus, from the latest news coming out anyway. Was Brewster sold or loaned? He was sold with a buyback option for 3 years. So he was sold to Sheffield United. Liverpool have a buyback option on him for 3 years. I think at around, I think it's close to £40 million if my memory's right. 6 million, that's disrespectful to Shaqiri, confused.com, said Carrie Bonner. It is, I agree with you. And look, I'm somebody who's been a bit critical of Shaqiri, but I absolutely agree with you that it seems like a really, really low number. I've already done Camavinga as well, Stefan. Most likely probably going to stay in France with potentially PSG. How am I? I'm good, thank you, Del Boy. Really good. I've done Malin as well, Shay. For those who aren't in, nothing new on Malin. Nothing whatsoever anywhere. I'm not seeing him linked with anybody else either that much. Grujic is going to be sold. He's on the list to be sold as well. Ideally would stay at Porto. I think he likes it there. If they can come up with the right fee, which I think is about 15 to 18 million from what I've read. You know, if Liverpool can move him on. And look, I agree. I don't think he was given a fair shout at Liverpool and probably could have done a job for us. And certainly, I think him learning off Fabinho would have been nothing but positive for the lad. So I think he's been very unlucky that he hasn't had a real opportunity at Liverpool. But obviously, for whatever reason, Jurgen Klopp's looked at him and just doesn't think it's the right time for him or whatever. But it is a shame because I think that there's a decent player in there in Grujic. Sell Mane to finance Mbappe. To who? And I don't mean that to be rude, mate, but it's very easy for me and you to sit here and go sell X, Y and Z, but somebody has to be willing to come in and pay it, and it has to be a move that works for the player as well. So there's not really much... There's not much money around, to be honest with you. What do I think of Kante? Look, he's sensational. N'Golo Kante, what a footballer. What a man as well. Nothing but positive things about Kante. And as I said at the start of the stream, congratulations to Chelsea on winning the Champions League. I thought they defended really, really well against Manchester City. And I thought that Tuchel got his tactics spot on, and fair play to them. Thoughts on Grealish not coming to Liverpool? As much as any of us would like it, you're talking about an astronomical amount of money to get Jack Grealish out of Aston Villa. Could he do a job for us? Yes, of course he could. He's a class player, and I think I think he's a soft spot for Liverpool as well. But I don't see it happening. Will Salah and Mane and Fabinho and VVD sign new contract? There's talk of a whole load of new contracts, Carrie. So, as you've said, Salah, Mane, Fabinho, Van Dijk new contracts. Apparently Trent new contract as well. Apparently from what I read today, and Firmino. All our forwards are in the same boat. 2 years left on the contract. So you would imagine now is the time to sit down and negotiate. But you also know what's going to come on the back of this. So don't be surprised to hear that all these players are going to get new deals. But it will take up a big chunk of our money and means there'll be very little left over for transfers. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but that's going to be the spin that's put on it. We'll get the priority is to keep the group of the nucleus of the players together, reward them with new contracts, but then after that comes the bad news of, hey, guess what, guys, we've got no money. So I don't know what to say. I don't come on and lie to you, so I'm not going to try and spin it out for views or tell you a load of bullshit stories. I'm honest. I always tell you guys the blunt truth. What else we got? Actually, let me just look at my phone because I've got a couple of bits of news on this that I wanted to go back over. 1 second. Been taking. Oh yes. So sorry. I open up my notes and something else comes up. Right, so the Champions League pots, by the way, have been decided. I don't know if you guys had seen this, so here's how it works out. Pot 1 contains all the league winners from the top leagues around Europe, as well as, of course, the Champions League winners. So Pot 1 contains Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Lille, Sporting, Chelsea and Villarreal. So Pot 2 is where it gets very interesting though. Pot 2 is the pot that Liverpool are in. So basically Liverpool cannot be drawn against any of the teams in Pot 2. Pot 2 consists of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, Sevilla, Manchester United, Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. So we won't be playing any of those teams in the Champions League group stage. But we can of course get drawn against some teams from Pot 1 which do contain Atleti. We can't get drawn against City obviously. By Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Lille, Sporting and Villarreal. They're all options from Pot 1 for Liverpool in the Champions League draw. Awoni is getting sold, mate. Sorry, I just read another fucking idiot asking about Coutinho on a free. I'm not going to repeat this all summer. I've said it so many times. They don't owe us any money. I can't be any clearer on it. They don't owe us any money. Any of these Mickey Mouse bullshit websites that are telling you they owe us 50 million quid, if you want to believe the nonsense, that's completely up to you. But what I'm telling you are facts. Liverpool aren't owed a penny from Barcelona. Barcelona owe 50 million quid, just not to Liverpool. They owe it to a company that Liverpool sold the debt off to. So there's no Coutinho on a free, and any of these little gobshites on Twitter or elsewhere that are trying to fool you with this lie are just basically lying to you. So I don't know what else to say. I told you months and months and months ago that we weren't owed any money on Coutinho, and as always I get the what the fuck do you know? I know a lot more than some of you think apparently. And yeah, we're not owed any money on him. So how do I think Elliot will work out? Very well, El Nino. I mean, everything's going for him there. He's got the love for Liverpool, the will to succeed, the talent, the petulance of youth that I love so much as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Elliot. What's the story with DAKA? I've gone through it a few times, mate. There's a couple of different stories doing the rounds. Some people believe that West Ham are furthest along in their negotiations for Pats and DAKA. But then tonight, a little bit start coming out over again, saying some people have gone as far as to say, by the way, that Liverpool will announce the signing in the coming days. I certainly can't stand over that, but I like the look of it. And at 25 million quid, I think it's definitely a punt worth taking for DAKA. Opinions on McGinn. Good player. Good, we'll be at the Euros with Scotland, but I don't think he'll leave Villa. What do I think about Pep out because no Champions League? It's not my problem, to be honest with you, mate. And didn't he just sign a new contract, Pep? Or did I get that wrong? But I don't know. That guy, Fatowu, we spoke about earlier on, mate. It just comes from one source in Ghana that suggests the contract has been signed. Nobody that I've messaged today from the English side can confirm any of that. It was believed Bayer Leverkusen was going to be his destination, apparently. I mean, I never heard of this guy until today. But, you know, that Ghanaian publication or that lad on Twitter or whoever it is that's put that out there, nobody else seems to be able to confirm it yet. So just wait and see, I suppose. What's the transfer budget? Nobody knows. And anyone that tells you they know is absolutely full of shit, because it's not like the club are going to say to Klopp, there's 40 million quid there, do what you need to do. It's a matter of the right player at the right time, the right profile, for a fee that they feel is fair and not over the odds. Somebody that's profile as a person fits the club, somebody the Klopp thinks will add to the group. There's a whole lot more goes into this. Liverpool don't make transfers on a whim. They track players for a long time before they make the final decisions on them. So, yeah. That's, again, just being honest. Want Salah for another 6 years. I want him to beat Shearer's Premier League record. Look, I hope Salah signs on as well, Carrie, and I think it would be ridiculous if the club don't offer him a much improved contract, because he deserves it. What do I think of Takumi being recalled? He hasn't been recalled. He's just come back to the club because the season's over and his time with Southampton's over. So it's not like he's been recalled because we have any particular need or want. He's been brought back in because the season's over and he'll be back training in pre-season. What happens with him after that, I honestly don't know. I don't know if that crowd Nor is reliable. I've got no idea. I don't even want to try and pronounce it because I'll just make a mess of the pronunciation, but I don't know is the honest answer. What have we got? Are we about to sign DAKA? Again, I've covered it 4 times so far in the last 45 minutes. So go back and watch the stream, is my question. Oh, before I head off in a few minutes, tomorrow we announce the winner of our giveaway. So if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, don't forget, here's what we're giving away. First prize is a £250 Amazon gift voucher, a Manscaped 3.0 perfect package set with thanks to manscaped.com. Don't forget to use the code WFM20 to get 20% off at manscaped.com. You'll also receive any of the Liverpool shirts you want from this season. Pick whichever one that you want for the upcoming season and we'll send that to you as well. On top of that, you'll get any shirt you want from 3retro.com and a set of Samsung Live Buds. So a really good prize package there for the first prize winner. There'll be a second and a third prize as well of £50 Amazon gift cards. And I'll announce the winner of the competition on tomorrow night's late night agenda. So, how do you enter? Make sure that you go over and watch our... I'm going to get the name of this right, so bear with me 1 second. I keep saying the name of the video wrong. 1 sec. The 100k giveaway Best of Anfield Agenda 2021 season highlights. Watch that video. It's 18 minutes long. It's up on the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel right now, and that tells you how to enter the competition. Really straightforward, I promise you. Watch the video. It's 18 minutes long. You'll know what it's about, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That's it. That's all you need to do. Watch the video and do whatever it asks you to do, and then make sure you're subscribed, and we'll be announcing the winner of that tomorrow as promised. And again, from all of us, thank you so much for helping us get to the level that we're at now. Without your support, we wouldn't have done it. It's as simple as that. Will I take Adama Traore now for Liverpool or not? Not because of the shoulder injury. 5 or 6 dislocations of his right shoulder in 2 years. So I would much prefer we looked at Saint-Maximin than Adama Traore. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a hiccup here. Would I take Lewandowski? Normally I'd say pie in the sky stuff, but I did see a little something today to suggest that maybe Lewandowski is open to moving away from Bayern Munich. I don't know. Let's wait and see, but I mean, I'd be very shocked. But, you know, would anybody turn down Lewandowski? I mean, you're guaranteed a serious amount of goals if you've got Lewandowski in your team. Is Trent out of the England squad? It appears so, Josh. Yes, some journalists tonight putting out some stories to say that they've got the information that he's not going to be in the final 26-man squad tomorrow, unfortunately, and I think it's ridiculous. Would I take Ricky Puig? Yes, but he won't be leaving Barcelona, mate. Anyone that comes to La Masia at Barcelona, they want to keep around. And Ricky Puig, Didn't get as many chances this year as maybe you would have hoped, but I still think he'll stay at Barcelona. What have we got? I don't know. Ethan, sorry mate, I've no idea about that link that you've put in there, mates. I've seen it a few times in the chat, mate. Sorry, I meant to respond earlier on, but no, I've not seen nothing to it. Bellingham, not a hope in hell he leaves Dortmund this summer for any amount of money. Dortmund are willing to let Jadon Sancho go. Nobody knows what will happen with Haaland yet, but Bellingham is somebody they've said categorically, excuse me, there's no number that they tell him for this summer. I think another season there will do him no harm whatsoever. Would I take DAKA? Yes, absolutely, 100% yes. Right, what else we got? Will I take Donnarumma as competition for Alisson? He's not going to want to come in and be a number 2, mate, to be honest with you. And again, I think as a Mina Raiola client, if my memory's right. And I think, doesn't he like to bring his little brother to a club with him as well? Somebody says breaking, Liverpool have bid 32 million for Rafinha. I don't know why they do that when he came out and said that he's going to stay at Leeds and he's flattered by the links to Liverpool, but he's happy. So if they're going to bid for a player that's already said he doesn't want to come, mate, then that would be a very fucking strange thing, wouldn't it? But then again, maybe everything has changed. I don't know. Look, ladies and gents, I'm going to head off and spend some time with the family tonight, but I hope to see you tomorrow at 8:30. Don't forget, we're announcing the winner tomorrow of the giveaway, and the second prize and the third prize. So get yourselves over, watch that video. I'll do my best to dig up some more stories for you for tomorrow and get some more information. We're going to do a couple of podcasts as well, a couple of times a week. Myself and Steve Bland are going to come on and chat transfers as well. Steve, very well connected in the journalist world, so we'll be having a chat a couple of times a week on Anfield Agenda as well. We're going to be upping the amount of content we're putting out for the coming season as well. So look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Be well, be safe, enjoy the good weather. You know, try and obey all the rules and regulations and everything to keep safe. Lots of love to you all. I hope